It had been on New Year's Day 10 months earlier when Ford first heard an ominous public pronouncement by the newly installed communist government in neighboring China. He had been at his radio listening post in Chamdo, at the eastern edge of the country. Despite the static, the content of the message broadcast by Radio Beijing was clear. The tasks for the People's Republic of China for 1950 are to liberate Taiwan, Hainan, and Tibet. China, which encircled a majority of Tibet's border, had been a continual threat for centuries. It didn't seem to matter who was in power there. Each successive ruler had coveted the mountainous nation. Tibet remained under China's dominion, with varying degrees of independence, until 1912, when revolutionary chaos in China permitted it to declare its independence. The Chinese government, however, along with Western nations, didn't recognize Tibetan independence, which left the land in a precarious state. Listening to his radio, Ford learned how Mao Zedong's regime, which had just taken power in Beijing, was ready to reassert his nation's dominion. In 1950, Tibet was a tempting target, offering the new Chinese government potential mineral wealth and gateway to descend into India, should it choose to expand its reach in Asia even further. Ford cut the power to his radio. Generated by a small diesel engine, the electricity depended on fuel that had to be transported across Tibet by pony in metal canisters. For 2 years, on contract to the Tibetan government, Ford had manned a transmitting and listening post connected to the world through an antenna draped with prayer flags that flapped in the mountain winds. Ford was the linchpin to rapid communication within the mountainous nation and responsible for keeping Tibet in touch with the outside world. His station, along with 2 others, comprised the entire Tibetan communications system, unless one counted the pony-riding couriers who could take 10 days to reach Lhasa, the capital, from Chamdo. On this day, the radio had proved its worth. Now Ford needed to warn the Tibetan government that war threatened.